الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
Well, welcome, friends, guests, members of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Catskills, to our online service. That was not exactly what it was supposed to be. It was a Muslim call to prayer, and if you check it out on YouTube, it is very clean, and you just hear that beautiful voice as he faces the Kaaba in Mecca, places his hands to his ears and recites the Adhan, which is the Allah is great. We seem to be picking up an echo there, which is very interesting because the service reverberates around the idea of echoes and sacred space. So good morning and welcome. I am Catherine Catabiani, the music director and a member of the UU Catskills Worship Committee. Our minister, the Reverend Dr. Leonisa Ardezzoni is not with us this Sunday. So Zoom, as has just been illustrated, is a fickle mistress. Who knows what's going to happen, and we beg your forgiveness for whatever goes down. Our tech host, Kathy Kasner, has more than the usual technical challenges this morning. I'm very grateful she's taken it on with competence and calm. Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religious faith that carries no creed and welcomes all seekers, whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you're welcome here. At UU Catskills, we affirm Black Lives Matter. We're a welcoming congregation for members of the LGBTQ community. We are a congregational affiliate of the Ulster Immigration Defense Network, and we are active voices in an effort to address climate change. Thank you for joining us this morning. If you're new, welcome. We encourage you to visit our website at uucatskills.org. If you'd like to be on the mailing list, you can add your email to the chat box. There are quite a few events going on despite the challenges at UU Catskills. There's this Sunday, today, at 4, there's grief support with Leela Clark. On Monday, the Women's Conversation Circle with Pat Hurst. This is not going to work. Here we go. Wednesday, Vespers at 7:30. Bedtime story on Thursday at 7. And yoga, introductory session at 9 and yoga class at 9:30 on Friday, the 2nd. Welcome to UU Catskills. We're happy you're here. Let's worship together. Put aside your concerns, enter into the sacred space and time. Our prelude is Das Saket Light by Tom Anderson, played by our own Peter Musty. Please join me in our unison affirmation. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love to all living beings. May we know once again that we are not isolated, but connected in wonder and joy to mystery and miracle in the universe, in this community, and in each other. The opening words are from Joseph Campbell. You must have a room or a certain hour or so a day where you don't know what was in the newspapers this morning. You don't know who your friends are. You don't know what you owe anybody. You don't know what anybody owes you. This is a place where you can simply experience and bring forth what you are and what you might be. This is a place of creative incubation. At first, you may find that nothing happens there. But if you have a sacred place and use it, something eventually will happen. Let us illuminate our sacred place with a chalice, if you've got one. And say our chalice lighting words. We light this chalice in grateful, loving community. Even in the darkest of times, may its flame light paths to courage, justice, and hope. Okay, now is my not for children only. Many, many years ago, 1488 to be exact, there was a powerful Byzantine emperor by the name of Justinian who wanted to build himself a church, and not just any old church, but the biggest church he could. So he employed more than 10,000 people to build it, and they called it Hagia Sophia. For nearly 1,000 years, it was the world's largest cathedral. Over the years, it has suffered from leaks and falling masonry and fires. It's been a Christian church, it's been a Muslim, a mosque, a museum, and now it's a mosque again. But it is still standing, and it is still massive. It has domed copper roofs, and as a matter of fact, the picture during the prelude was a picture of that domed copper roof, one of them, that shines in the sun, and inside it's green and white marble with gold gilding and mosaics and ornate designs. The nave, or the central part, is a big square box, or it's a square, and it has this golden dome on top of it, which is 182 feet high. That's about 10 stories. And underneath this golden dome is a row, an arcade of windows. So the light shines in and it makes it look as if the dome is floating in space. So the question is, if you made a sound in that area with that big dome, and then there are a whole bunch of other areas around it, the hard marble of the floor and the walls, what do you think it would sound like? Well, there were scientists who wondered this very thing. An art historian named Pisera Pincheva, I love that name, spent 10 years working with colleagues studying the building's echoes and reverberations to reconstruct the sound of a Byzantine cathedral and what the music would sound like there. And in the winter of 2010, Dr. Pincheva got permission to enter Hagia Sophia at dawn when the city outside was quiet, and she persuaded a guard to stand where the choir would stand when they sang, and to pop a balloon. Microphones captured the explosion of the sound and the resulting wash of reverberations. The balloon noise and the sound that bounced off the dome and the marble colonnades was recorded and put into a computer. She said that little balloon pop gave the scientists all the information about the material and the size of the space. So normally, if this were your living room, what would a balloon pop sound like? I don't have a balloon, but I have a plastic bag. Are you ready? All right. You ready? Oh! How about this? Okay. Well, it didn't sound like that. It was pop, but then it went pop, 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 pop. And you could hear the note, if you could call it a note, change. So about 20 years ago, they had found it's possible to record music in a studio and then make it sound as if it were sung or performed somewhere else, which is exactly what they did. A group called Capella Romana made an album of just this kind of music that would have been played in Hagia Sophia originally. It's called The Lost Voices of Hagia Sophia. And the scientists were able to make it sound like it was recorded in the cathedral with its luscious reverberations and cross echoes, even though it was recorded in a studio in California. And for the grown-ups, if you listen, the choir master said, listen for the long reverberation time, dictating slower tempos. The basses singing drone, you can hear them make subtle pitch changes because they have to adapt to the frequencies of the resonance. All right, Kathy is going to play Troparion, Lord Save Your People, a short hymn written more than 1,000 years ago and sung in Greek as if it were sung in Hagia Sophia. Our next piece of the service is what we usually call compassion and contemplation, but today we're going to have a musical meditation. So let us enter a time of contemplation. Come into the present. Put your feet on the ground. Take a deep breath, as if that piece didn't already put you in a contemplative state. This is your time to pause, time to reflect on your emotions, tap into your feelings, to acknowledge our place in the universe and connect us with that which is greater to us. The musical meditation is be here, be still. Be still. Breathe in awareness. Let go. You musicians have been very generous with their contributions, and that Be Here, Be Still is one of those. You ready for another story? When Carnegie Hall was built in 1861, it was considered to have one of the best acoustics in the world. But after a renovation in 1986, the complaints began. Where was the gorgeous sound for which Carnegie Hall was known? At first, critics began writing that the hall's acoustics had deteriorated. There was a mushiness in the sound. And then the musicians chimed in, claiming that they couldn't hear each other on stage and that the bass resonance from their instruments was being lost. I recall that one newspaper conjectured that because it was winter and the cloakroom was not open yet, that everybody was still wearing their fur coats. One joker claimed that the acoustics would be much better if the audience was naked. Some suggested bringing back a large curtain that had once adorned the stage. Others noted that a hole in the ceiling had been covered over, which could affect the reverberation of sound in the room. Sounds like Hagia Sophia, doesn't it, with the dome? Over the years, Carnegie tried to correct the perceived problems by installing a set of folding acoustical screens for the stage, applying absorptive materials to the ceiling to counteract the harshness produced by the higher range instruments, but still, the acoustics were off. In 1997, they found the culprit, a layer of concrete mistakenly poured onto the stage. The stage floor is a resonating surface, and when there's a solid substance underneath the wood, you don't get the resonating sound you get when it's hollow under there. Concrete was removed and the stage restored to mirror the original 1891 design. That Carnegie is a sacred place, I think. Next, we're going to have a musical reflection, Romance in F Sharp by Robert Schumann, played by our own Dee Williams. If I may quote Dee, she said, "To me, the room where she's recording, is my sacred space, filled with treasures that present special places and people I love past and present, especially my Kawai Shiguro, her piano. It was conceived by Ross after we met as an addition to the house he had just moved into. Without it, there would be no D space in his lovely open floor plan home, so it represents love more than anything else." Romance in F Sharp. Thank you. Our congregation is sustained by your generous gifts. For the month of September, we're sharing our plate with Rise Up Kingston, a grassroots organization led by those experiencing racism, classism, and gender oppression on a daily basis. There are several ways to contribute to UU of the Catskills, as you can see from the slide that Kathy has put up for us. You can do it online, you could do it on phone, and if you must, you can send it to UUCC at Saltkill Road. Our offertory is Invictus by Anthony Barfield.
The inspiration behind my piece, Invictus, is this supposed to be a work about New York City in its current state, with Black Lives Matter, dealing with COVID-19, the uncertainty of it all. But one thing is for sure, New York City is very adaptable, is very resilient, and we've somehow figured out a way to come together through this time. I was excited about the opportunity to write a piece that involved musicians from various styles of music. As a composer, I have a tendency to incorporate gospel, jazz, classical, and hip hop, and I felt working with these musicians would help enhance those styles within the piece. Conducting this piece was very special and extremely humbling. It was also very challenging considering that all the musicians were 12 feet apart from each other, but all in all, one of the best experiences of my career.
Thank you. Thank you all for your contributions, your music, your financial, and your witness. When I first started gathering material for this service, it was a study of acoustics and holy places, beginning with the thrilling echoing of Hagia Sophia through Carnegie Hall and D. Williams Music Room, extending into making music in the holy places around us, playing in Lincoln Center Mall, singing in the shower, under a bridge, underwater, in a crowded sanctuary, singing shoulder to shoulder to shoulder with you. A celebration of music in the sacred spaces in which we make it, the cathedrals and the living rooms. Now, the overarching theme of September has been renewal. And these challenging days have called upon us to restructure our lives and the spaces in our lives. Our meetings have taken to Zoom. Black Lives Matter protesters are standing masked 6 feet apart. NPR announcers are working from their closets. Since we left our sanctuary on Sawkill Road, we have been called upon to create our own sacred spaces each Sunday, and it hasn't always been easy. To sit in our everyday surroundings in front of the computers that we conduct our business on all week and feel that we're in a sanctified area. We have no shofar to blow to inspire awe, no call to prayer echoing off surrounding buildings, no vast emptiness of Hagia Sophia, no wood of Carnegie Hall reverberating beneath our feet, no light falling through stained glass windows, no friends to sit next to sing with, to reverberate against. Reverberation adds depth, richness, and warmth to music, and in this age of Zoom, denied access to our honored space on Sawkill Road, we are starved of one another's company and the chance to resonate against one another. Some of us, in an effort to create sacred space, have taken it outside and listened to the service to a chorus of peepers, birds, and wind. Some of us have carried our supernumerary chalices to a comfy chair. And some of us, me for one, have chosen a stinky candle for our chalice, so we associate a particular pleasant odor with this special time. Some of us found a corner for quiet reflection where we could, as Joseph Campbell said, simply experience and bring forth what we are and what we might be. And for some of us, it has allowed us to go inside and find that sacred space within. Let us sanctify all of our sacred spaces within and without. Now, it's your turn to make the music. Our closing words are the song Circle Round for Freedom, written by cantor Laura Hirschhorn. Glenn Thomas Rideout, who is the director of UU Congregation of Ann Arbor, Michigan, has created videos for use by UU congregations. So let's join Dr. Rideout in singing Circle Round for Freedom.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for its soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for peace. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
So if you want to gather up your chalices and cats, we extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Go in peace. Stick around for breakout rooms.